Welcome to episode 27 of Jock Talk. I'm Jean-Jacques Taylor, my boy Big Joe in the Big Rig. What's up, dog?
What up, what up?
Well, I mean, we're going to get into the game in just a minute because that was a wild and crazy game worthy of two of the better teams in the NFC. So I hope you guys are prepared to be entertained and dazzled for the next hour or so as me and Big Joe and the Big Rig getting on the game. I do want to tell you that my book, Coach Prime, Deion Sanders and the Making of Men, is available wherever you get your books. It's an inside look at why he's the coach the way he is. You want to know why he changed offensive coordinators this week? He's done it 3 times in 4 years. You get the answers in my book because I spent a year in Jackson following him around at Jackson State as he tried to go perfect with them. Before we get started, you know, I always like to tell you none of this is possible without my friends at Greening Law. So let me tell you this. If you're involved in an accident and it's not your fault, and it doesn't matter whether it's at a business, an apartment complex, wherever, if you're away from the house and you get involved in an accident, it's not your fault. What you need to do, what you must do, pick up the phone, punch in 972-934-8900, and just tell them your situation. Understand, consultation is free. It means it don't cost you nothing. Zero, zilch, nada. To pick up the phone and say, hey, Green Team, here's what happened to me. Here's my deal. What do you think? And I'm going to keep it real with you. If they bring you on as a client, it's been your lucky day. For real. Because anybody who's gone through this, and if you haven't, let me tell you about it. It's a long, tedious, sometimes intimidating, scary process. And if you got the Green Team with you, walking you through there, you know, they hold a flashlight. You walk behind them. They say, hey, turn left right here. Hold tight. Stay still for a minute. Turn right. Let's go straight for a minute. Oh, watch out. Watch out. Okay, we good. That's what they do for you. Why? They want you focused on rest and renewal. That's how they want you focused. Get your body right so you can go back to your normal life as you had before the accident. So they're partners who will walk you through this process. They answer questions that you didn't even know existed, which is always a help. And check this out. I always tell folks this because it's real and it's important. They don't get paid nothing unless you get paid. Okay, check that out. They don't get paid unless you get paid. It don't really get much better than that. Again, 972-934-8900 is the number, but you ain't got to take my word for it. You can go to greeninglaw.com, check out the website. You can see for yourself the work that they do, especially what Robert Greening does away from the office in East Dallas and at Bryan Adams High School. Hey, if you're involved in an accident away from the crib and it's not your fault, give them a call. Send me a thank you note later. Dog. Normally we have a chat before we start the show, just a brief chat about how we're going to go, what we're going to talk about, this, that, and the other thing. I told Joe today, no chat, dog, no chat. And I can't tell you what I said after that because that's just between us fellas. But I didn't want to chat with him because I thought it was a fascinating game. I thought it was a great football game. I told y'all that the Cowboys could play good and lose, and it wouldn't be the end of the world to me. It was more important that they played well, they showed up, they represented, they acted like they had the capability of being a terrific team because they're going to get the Eagles back at the crib later, and we know how they play in Dallas. So, that being said, what's your initial thought on the game, bro?
I thought it was a knockdown, drag out. I thought they had a lot of opportunities to win the game, but I thought the same thing. I thought they played well. I thought they represented well, and for the third game in a row, number 4 sold out. I mean, he was the guy.
You know, I think, and we're going to get into that. We're going to talk about Dak. We're going to talk about the defense. We're going to talk about what this game really means in the big picture in a minute. You know, including the key question, which is, did they show up? Did they do that thing? Because we know they didn't show up against San Francisco. 42-10, butt-kicking, non-competitive, had you wondering about who they are and what they're all about. The Cardinals game, it seemed like everybody got a game like that. So we give them the bad game, bad opponent pass. That San Francisco thing was a gut punch. So it was good to see them respond. But let's talk about this, man, because when they punted the ball, the Cowboys did what they had to do. They got a 3-and-out, used the timeouts, made them punt the ball, took over at their 14-yard line with 46 seconds left. At that point, I was like, oh, let me tell you what I started doing, real talk. I started packing my stuff up to go do the show. What did you think when they got the ball 46 seconds left?
I thought it was over. I mean, in that situation, they usually pack it in themselves.
But the big thing was right off the bat, man. They threw deep, and I was just shocked. I couldn't believe that Bradbury got called for the pass interference on the play to Michael Gallup. Like, one, okay, I'm going to take a quick aside in a minute, but one, I just couldn't believe that they took a side for Michael Gallup. And that, to me, was a hold up. We have what is known in the business as a technical issue that came out of nowhere. No, okay, I think we're good. I'm operating in a new studio for the first time, and so I thought the computer wasn't charging. And I was like, if it's not charging, we finna be dead in a minute, and I'm gonna get a text cussing me out about why I didn't check this earlier. So we good to go. But sometimes this happens. I'm gonna take a quick exit ramp and ask you stop laughing at me, dog. This is a very quick exit ramp, and tell me what you think. I don't like throwing to my third and fourth and fifth receivers in key situations. Dak did it on a fourth down to Jalen Tolbert. And here's the game-winning drive, and he threw it. It worked out. I just find it odd when you don't go to your top one or two guys. But it worked out with a 35-yard pass interference on Bradbury against Michael Gallup. What was your thought on that?
I thought the call was okay. I don't mind the call. It's just I thought the call was okay because it was supposed to be pass interference.
Right.
That's the problem. It's not that he dropped the ball. It's not that he wasn't catching it when he was thrown to. It's that Bradbury was all over him, and there was no call.
Dude. When they get the pass interference on Bradbury and it's 30 yards, all of a sudden they're at the 50. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. I put my stuff down, started watching, because I'm like, they got a shot now. Not a good shot, but they got a shot. At the 14, to me, they had no shot. So then they go to Ferguson for 10, and then Doggy hits CeeDee Lamb across the middle for 14 yards to the 25, and I'm like, wow. And then, bro, they got a couple sacks later, and Terrence Steele had a rough day, man. He just had a rough day.
He was a damn turnstile. That's what he was.
Okay, normally I'm the one with the harsh words, and you're a kindly, gentler version.
Well, he forgot he was playing right tackle. He's a real turnstile at left tackle, but today, I mean, Brandon Graham didn't even. I don't know. He just let him go. Was he passing him off to a ghost or something? He just let him go on the inside. I just thought, okay.
The situation they had, it was first and goal at the 5, 27 seconds left. Tyler Smith, false start. I'm like, dog.
North Crowley's own Tyler Smith.
Yeah, your neck of the woods.
Yeah.
False start. So now it's 1st and 10 at the 11. Turnstile, Terrence Steele gives up a sack. 2nd and 21 at the 22. Then they get a delay game. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd and 21 at the 22. I'm like, okay, this is desperation time now. They took a shot, incomplete, and then they took a deep shot to CeeDee Lamb. And he got down to like the 2-yard line, man. And I thought for a second he was going to break free, but then they had him bottled up. And all I could say at that point was, I mean, you did that thing. It just didn't work out for you. What'd you think?
Yeah, I thought they represented. I thought they played well. If you play more games like this, you win more games like this. How many games? Like they either been blowing people out.
It's not a blowout?
Yeah, they've been blowing people out, or they've been getting blown out. But when you play close games like this, you win more close games like this. When you start, as a team, you get more clutch, and everybody understands what they got to do, and it's not so much confusion.
No, I got you on that. I believe that. And hopefully we'll see them perform at this kind of high level more regularly as opposed to it being a aberration. Final numbers, Dak Prescott, 29-44 for 374, 3 touchdowns, a 115 passer rating. CeeDee Lamb, 11, 191.
Let's not skip over 0 turnovers. That's the big one. 0 turnovers.
Can you got to wait for the preacher, man.
All right,
amen.
Say amen. All right,
and you starting the organ up. You got to wait for the preacher, man.
All right.
CeeDee Lamb, 11 for 191, no touchdowns. 16 targets ought to make the crowd happy.
Yep.
Jake Ferguson, 7 for 91 with a longer 40. 10 targets. He's turning into that security blanket that Dak always loves. He's no Dalton Schultz, but he's a man. He's a man who can make it happen. Cowboys had third downs. They were 6 for 15. A little better on that.
Easy killer. Easy killer. Okay. That's enough of that. All right.
One fumble loss, but that was okay. Your Dallas Cowboys, and that was at the end of the game. They played the penalties, man. 10 for 83. The Eagles had 10 for 98. They got to clean that up. A couple of them were really, really poor. But overall, man, they played a good game. Jalen Hurts, 17 for 23, 207. He played a good game, but he didn't kill him. He made some plays, which he is supposed to do, but he didn't kill him. A.J. Brown, 6 straight games of 125 yards or more, an NFL record, ended today. 7 catches, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. He was good, as he is, because he's a star, but he was not a problem. DeAndre Swift, 18 for 43, 33 for 109 against the run. I mean, they played good, man. They just made too many little bitty mistakes. And it's a game that they'll be disappointed about, that'll hurt their feelings, that'll have them mad for a couple of days. But I think if they look back on it, they can really see how they can turn this into, this is who we should be every week. And if we play like this every week, then at the end of the year, we'll be in a position to play our best football and do some damage in the playoffs. What do you think?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think, like I said before, the more these close games you play, the more you win. They stood toe to toe with, quote unquote, one of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, and they showed a lot of grit. They had a bad third quarter, and the third quarter really turned. I mean, they were up 17-14 at halftime. The third quarter really turned on Schoonover, the rookie tight end from Michigan. He had a holding penalty on an 18-yard run by Rico Dowdle.
Did it hurt you to say that?
What, did he went to cheating-ass Michigan?
Yeah.
No, it didn't hurt me to say that.
It sound like it. Go ahead.
No. I mean, I'm a professional about these things.
All right.
And that forced him to punt, and that broke their what is I'm trying to say? That like broke serve and allowed the Eagles to get the ball back, and then the Eagles drove for another touchdown. And that's how they went up 28-17 going into the fourth quarter. But the Cowboys played good, man. I mean, they came back. They overcame that adversity. That drive where they get stopped at the 1-inch line where it's Schoonover, that was a tough play, man. If you listen to the broadcasters, Jake Ferguson didn't run his route shallow enough, forcing the safety to come over him. And so he went under him, and that allowed. But, the question is, how can you tackle a man before he catch the ball? I'm not really.
That's a good question.
Because that's what happened. He got tackled before he caught the ball. And so they ended up at the 1-inch line, but they got to stop. They came back down and scored. It just took some time off the clock. So I understand the frustration that the Cowboys may be feeling. I even understand the frustration that some of the fans may be feeling. But, man, when you play good teams, you can play good and lose. That's why losses to Arizona hurt so much. Because if this was just your second loss, you'd be like, all right, it's all good. So now if you look at the standings, Philadelphia 8-1, Dallas 5-3, Washington 4-5, New York 2-7. We don't really count about them. Philadelphia got a tough schedule coming up though, dog. They got the Chiefs, then they got the Bills, then they got the 49ers, then they got the Cowboys, then they got the Seahawks. All right, so they got a very tough stretch coming up. Dallas has got the next few games at the crib. They got to be able to make some hay right there. And I think this is a race that's going to be decided in December. The Cowboys got the Giants, the Panthers, Washington, and then Seattle and the Eagles before they start that December death march with Buffalo, Miami, and Detroit before ending up with Washington. So I think it all evens out. Dallas Cowboys, tough game, 28-23 loss. Your boy predicted 26-20, so it kind of fell in the realm of where I thought it was going to go. But I think the Cowboys, once it calms down a little bit, I think they'll look at this performance and be like, okay, now let me tell y'all something. Joe was in the neighborhood the other day. Told me he's going to be on 75 in court. And I said, hey, holler at me when you get there. And then he called back, and I said, you know what was going to happen today? He said, I know. I ain't trying to hear nothing from you. I said, no, dog. You know what's going to happen? He said, I don't know if it's going to happen or not. But you probably going to tell me he's going to bring me a jam session bowl today. I said, hey, that's what I was going to do, man. I already set the money aside, had emptied my pocketbook, was going to bring it to you, was going to make myself a truth teller for a change. But instead, he had to go back home, and so the jam session bowl is awaiting him, but it didn't get done this week. And the reason why we talk about the jam session bowl over there at Smokey John's Barbecue at 1820 West Mockingbird is because it is to live for. Did you hear me? It's to live for. That's because they put a bowl and it's either mac and cheese base or mashed potato base. I usually go with the mashed potatoes. And then you get your choice out of 2 out of 5 smoked meats. I regularly rock with the brisket and the sausage. I have been occasionally known to go with the double brisket. Joe said he wanted the double brisket, so I was going to rock with that. And then once you tell him that, all that stuff you find on the loaded baked potato, like chives and bacon bits and sour cream and cheese and butter. Hey, man, they ask you how much of that you want and do you want it all? And then you either drizzle it with sauce or you drench it with sauce. They pack it up. And it's enough for 2, easy. If you got a little shorty, the 3 of y'all can eat off of it. But I like to tell folks, it's so good that if you want Smokey John's taste in your mouth every day because it's to live for, you can go to the marketplace on SmokeyJohns.com, click on the marketplace, and order the sauce or the rub and have it at your house in a couple days. If you can't wait that long, then you go to a local HEB, Waxahachie, Burleson, McKinney, Frisco, out there by the Star. Get it right off the shelf. Take it to the crib and have it whenever you want it because it's just that good. Smokey John's Barbecue is delicious. I love it. I haven't had a jam session bowl in about a month, which means it's about that time. But I have vowed not to have another one until Big Joe and the Big Rig gets his. That's my pledge to you, my brother. And I take my pledges seriously. Now, if y'all can see Joe's face right now. Now, what you got to understand is I can't see it either. I can only imagine what it looked like. He's like, you so full of, But anyway, he knows me 30 years. That's what happens. I think the question is on everybody's mind going into this game. And the Cowboys talked about it a little bit. And it was set up in this way, bro. Jerry Jones took the unusual tact of saying, hey, I don't want to say anything to poke the bear. I'm going to chill out this week. And Dak Prescott heard that, and he was truly, what's the word I want to say? One, he was kind of incredulous that Jerry would say that he didn't want to poke the bear. And then I think he got a little offended, like, if I see a bear, pour honey on me.
Yeah, I saw that.
And all of that meant to me was saying, you can acknowledge it or you cannot acknowledge it. We all know it's a big game. Don't run from it, embrace it. And I was a little surprised because Jerry normally embraces these things. And so the question is, would the Cowboys show up? Would they play a game that made you think they could play important games in January and win them? And so the whole question all week, and I was in the locker room on Wednesday and Thursday asking guys, listening to their comments, talking about, one, how big a game is it? Did you put too much emphasis on the San Francisco game? How are you preparing for this one? All the things you would expect. And so I got to tell you, that first drive, they go 3 and out, and it looks raggedy to me. Philadelphia go right down the field and score, and I'm like, man, is it going to be one of them kind of days?
Yep, I got a couple of texts over here saying it's going to be a long day.
And what did you think, though?
I wasn't sure because the Chargers did this. I mean, the Chargers did the same thing,
right?
And them guys reacted. And I don't want to keep talking about Mr. Prescott, but he been known. He seemed like when he get a little adversity nowadays, he react like a champ. And so they kind of knocked him around, and he ran a little bit. And I kind of saw some life in that team in the second drive. So,
well, see again, and I think this game started off like the Rams to me in this sense. First 3 times he dropped back, the protection is okay.
Yeah.
He can't find no receivers. I'm like, y'all really can't separate? I mean, really, y'all can't separate? You can't get open? You can't get free? He gonna have to scramble 50 times a day? I mean, what's up with that? And so the good thing is he was assertive about it, and so he picked up the first down. Now I'm gonna rewind for just a second. The reason I didn't like that first drive is this: Philadelphia is good at stopping the run. They're not good at stopping the pass. I'm not trying, and they're playing at home. So what are they? They fired up. They're aggressive. They're ready to play. I'm not coming out and attack their strength from the jump. I'm going to attack your weakness from the jump and hope that loosens up your strength. Well, obviously Mike McCarthy, knowing a little bit more about football than I do, did what he did. Attacked the strength first, and it led to that 3 and out. And this, on the second drive, and let's not overlook Kevontae Turpin's big kick return. That gave him good field position. They came out and attacked. And then once Dak finally got the offense going, they moved down the field and they scored. And they actually ended up taking a 14-7 lead. And so, to me, man, this was all about, and we talked a little bit about it, but it was all about everybody showing up. I still got, and so they showed up. I don't have any doubts about that. They played, they got some sacks, they got some pressure. They played a good game. They faced some adversity and came back. And I think they can build on this one. But I think more to themselves, they know what's up, and they get a sense of what it takes to win these types of games. You got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think the Cowboys need to establish the running game a little better.
How do they do it?
A lot better.
I'm interrupting you because, I wrote in my notes twice today. Once Tony Pollard got 8 yards, and I'm like, I think he would have took that for 50 last year. And once he got around the corner, and I was like, oh, this finna go. Oh, this is like a 6-yard gain. I'm like, I don't know that he has it this year. And we've talked about why. Being a lead back, taking the pound, and people preparing for your runs and all this stuff. And so I don't know that I don't know that they can get a running game going this year.
Well, if they don't, it's going to take Brandon Cooks out the game every time because the Eagles stayed in too deep. For a team that's bad they good against the run, but they didn't have to drop nobody in the box. They stayed what we call 2 on the roof, 2 deep safety. Almost the whole game.
Now, let me tell you something. That's why we had Big Joe and Big Rig in this game. Because everybody wanted to know why your boy Brandon Cooks can't get no targets. In fact, at one point I tweeted out, yo, check this out, people. Michael Gallup got a drop. Kevontae Turpin got a catch. Jalen Tolbert got a catch. Brandon Cooks ain't even got a target. And we were midway through the third quarter when I did that. He hadn't been held without a catch since 2020, October 2020 against Minnesota, when he had 3 targets directed toward him and didn't catch them all. And he caught one today, but I'm not sure if it got overruled because of a penalty. So, yes, Brandon Cooks goes down with 1 catch for 7 yards. So he did get a catch on 2 targets. But you're saying because he's a deep threat, they're playing too deep, he's not really even a factor.
Yeah, where is he at in his offense? He's been running drags and slants. He got hurt on a slant one of them games. I can't remember, but they went to 2 deep shell the whole time. Just about the whole game. I think they dropped down to 1 a couple of times, maybe 4 times. But he probably wasn't in the game. Where does he fit in his offense if not a deep threat? Because he can still run. He can still play. He can still contribute. But if they're going to back up, it's automatic that you run. At least try to run against 2 deep.
Right, because what he's saying is you got 4 in line, 7 in the box, you got to be able to run. Just that simple. Now, Tony Pollard ended up with 12 for 51, 4.3 average, and they'll take some more of that. Again, they were moving the ball on the ground on that drive where Schoonover's penalty ruined it on the first one of the third drive. And so Rico Dowdle had, I think, an 18-yard run, came back, and it was this kind of inspiring run you can really build on because he broke the tackle, then he dragged the guy 2 or 3 yards, and I'm not sure they ever really got him down.
Yeah, but do they have a 1-2 punch or not? Are they trying to develop a 1-2 punch or not? It's just not.
They ain't got no 1-2. They don't have a 1-2 punch.
I thought Malik Davis was good last year, at least trying to fill in at that. It's one of them things where is Pollard the guy? Yeah, he's the guy, but is he going to be any good at that? So,
no, that's a great question, but I think the other issue is, and this is an offseason issue because it's too late to solve this issue now. You paid Tony Pollard $10 million a year because you thought he was the guy or he could be the guy. You didn't have any questions about it because if you did, you wouldn't have paid him $10 million. And what we found out through 8 games, now he can still change our opinion because why? Why? Sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a month, a year from now. So what we know today might not be true by the end of the year. But we halfway through the season, and Tony Pollard has got 108 carries for 423 yards and 2 touchdowns, 3.9 average. Last year he averaged 5.1 a carry and was scoring from 50 yards with regularity. And so my point, which is really just following up what you said, is he might have to be part of a 1-2 punch because he's not a one guy. And so, and what I'm saying is Rico Dowdle might not be good enough to be part of a 1-2 punch. He may be like your third running back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so if you had a real guy to do the dirty work and then you bring Pollard in as a change of pace, like with Zeke, and I'm not saying they should have brought Zeke back because what he's doing, and y'all know I'm a Buckeye, so this ain't about Zeke. But what he's doing in New England and the fact that he had to wait this long for a job proves they didn't need to bring it back, okay? But they don't have a guy to do the dirty work, so probably doing that, and it's taken away from his strength, which is explosive plays and big runs and changing the game. But and they thought they had that, and they don't.
Overall, they had 20 carries for 70 yards. And that right there is, I don't know, and Tony had, 50-something of that on 14. So I don't know if that's an indictment on him or maybe the passing game and the circumstances got him doing other things. I don't know.
I think today it was, once they got down 28-17, we don't have a lot of time to run because, and I mentioned this earlier on X, which used to be Twitter, that this was turning into what one of those low possession games because we were back almost in the fourth quarter and the Cowboys only had 6 possessions. And most NFL games, you get 10 to 12 possessions. Both teams were having success. Both teams were having long drives, and the game was shortened. And so there just weren't a lot of possession to be had. And so once they got behind, man, I think trying to score and win the game became much more important than committing to the run. Because what you talking about is a little bit of what Philly did: 33 for 109, 3.3 per carry.
Yeah, bang it.
Banging.
Yep.
And you could do that because they were in control of the game.
Yep.
And they could be a little more deliberate in their actions. And so, but the big thing is, did the Cowboys show up to play? They did, and I think that should give y'all some confidence going forward.
Well, I would say the last 2 or 3 years, probably the last 3, anybody with a pulse would give the Cowboys hell or beat the Cowboys, right?
Right.
And the guys who weren't no good, they would.
They scavengers. They pick the bone. They vultures. They pick the bones of bad teams.
The good teams were doing. I think that's what's different about this team. They was 5 points in a bunch of little things and penalties. Why don't Patrick Mahomes run another quarterback sneak? Because he separated his kneecap. It's a lot of torque on your body when you get banged up in there, especially if they shoving and everybody trying to. I think that hurts. I think that's got to be painful when he does that. They play him. What I'm trying to say is they play him in such a physical way. You'll see him run like a 6-yard touchdown where he breaks 4 tackles. You don't last like that.
No, we saw.
That's the same thing happened with Cam Newton. Same thing gonna happen with Josh Allen. Josh Allen banged up right now because them guys running the ball too much.
No, I feel you on that. Speaking of that, your quarterback Man, that dude was balling today. Once again,
Sold
29
out.
of 40, 29, 44, 374 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm not even sure today he threw an interceptable pass. He did get sacked 5 times, but he used his feet, man, to make plays, and he was really phenomenal today. I'm curious, not because I care what they say. I'm just curious what they say from a national perspective about Dak tomorrow. But again, I don't care what they say because so many of those shows are driven just to drive fans crazy and to get clicks and viewers that I don't necessarily believe that they believe everything that they say. When I say they, I'm talking about national talking heads. But it'll be interesting to see what they say about Dak after a performance like that where clearly he did just about everything he could do to get the Cowboys a win.
3 weeks in a row he's done that. 3 weeks in a row he's done that. That's some consistency right there. Be the reason we win, not the reason we lose. And he done more than that. He sold out today.
Dog, when he took that helicopter run trying to get that touchdown, that reminded me of that first playoff game against Seattle that they won in 16 or 17, where he got into the end zone about that. Because when I saw it, I was like, young Dak would have scored on that. Old Dak gave it the college try. And that was a good play by the Eagles defender because if he goes a little lower, he probably gets in there. But because he kind of crouched and came up with him and flipped him like that, he didn't get in. So it's a good play all the way around. But, dude, when he's playing like that, he's escaping the pocket. He's making great throws on the run. He made a throw to, I think it was CD on the run and one to Ferguson on the run. And I was just like,
that was the most unsafe play that I've seen Dak make since he's been back and scrambling. He's been pretty wise with his body nowadays, and I like that. I like that.
No, he did that today where there was a couple of times he's like, okay, this one's over, let me slide and go and get up. But on that one, and that's what you want, man, make business decisions. Like, it's time to win. We need to win. Let me go make a play right here and see what I can make happen. That's okay. Regardless of what happens, that's the time to make that decision because the game is on the line. You're trying to win. First quarter is not the time to make that decision. So no, Dak was terrific, man. It looks like to me, Jake Ferguson is progressing and is turning into a real underneath security blanket, much like Dalton Schultz that he can use.
Oh, Dak like a tight end. Yes, sir.
No, he do, and so you better get him one that he can work with because he like one. And now I'm gonna take a quick exit. And this is what you like about the way the Cowboys operate. So they got Jake Ferguson. They got Dalton Schultz. Jake Ferguson looks like he's going to, because it's just his second year, it looks like he's going to emerge into a really nice player. And when the time comes as a 4th round pick in 2 more years, you're like, so what do we do with Jake Ferguson? Well, by then you hope Schoonover has developed and he can take it for a couple years. And you just kind of pass the baton without ever having to pay a tight end big money. That's part of your draft and development strategy that you hope leads to roster consistency and able to manage the cap so that you can pay the stars that you have the big money that they deserve. But as we get back to Dak Prescott, the way he managed the game, the way he took him down the field at the end and they had a chance to win, I can't really find any negatives. And as we talked before, man, it seems to me like he has found his rhythm. Like I can't speak for him. Like Brandon Cooks ain't found his rhythm in the offense. Okay, but it seems to me like Jake Ferguson has found his rhythm in the offense and how he gets in and fits in. It seems to me like they done figured out CeeDee Lamb. He has 16 targets today. He won't be pouting about that.
I thought he wasn't pouting. He said people was reading his body language wrong.
That 12-letter cuss word was pouting, and that's okay.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Okay.
All that
Okay.
BS he was talking about. You was mad. Ain't nothing wrong with that. I want you to be mad.
Right. It's all good.
Yeah.
He didn't act a fool. He was just mad.
Yeah.
And so he got 16 targets. He can live with that. But what we're talking about is your boy Dak looks like he has found his comfort zone within the Texas Coast offense, as they call it. And now he's just kind of playing football and doing what he do and making plays. And And that's why the season is long, man, because you can get better during the season once you understand what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm good with if all else fails, hit number 88. And I'm good with don't give your body up, play smart, live to play another play, live to play another game. You know, I used to hold my breath after Dak broke his leg. I used to hold my breath every time he got hit. But he really, right. I mean, he's our best quarterback. So what's up? I just want to see him. I want to see him keep playing like he's playing, man. Like I said, it's just people make a big deal out of the interceptions. How about we make even a bigger deal when he don't throw the ball away, when he don't give the ball away? Fumbles, his pocket awareness is a little better than it was because he's tucking that ball and taking them sacks. It is what it is.
Well, he's understanding when the play is over.
Yep.
Like, okay, this one's a wrap, so let me just tuck the thing and take this sack and live to play another day.
That's perfect.
And sometimes that takes a minute to grasp. You know, I thought early on they gave him, when the pass rush was really coming, they gave him some outlets. I saw some check downs on the side. He took those a couple times.
Yes, he did.
And they had him on each side.
Yes, he did.
Right there in the flat. So, like, you get in trouble, boom, throw it down, man, and let's get this 3 or 4 yards and keep it moving. They're starting to get Kevontae Turpin a little more involved.
Excuse me, man. I'm laughing because
I was finna ask you why you were laughing.
Every time he throw a check down, my wife, see that? That's a check down. That's what he doing. He throwing a check down. And so, you know, she's like, what's a check down? Well, see Tony standing there waiting on the ball? That's a check down. See how he got 6 yards? That's what we trying to get Dak to do and quit hunting that old long stuff. You know, and it's right there for him. And he threw the check down early. He threw it right on time today, I thought.
Yeah, he did. And then, you know, I think Michael Gallup's snaps got reduced last week for Jalen Tolbert. I think you're going to see Jalen Tolbert's snaps increase and Michael Gallup's continue to decrease. Now, he had a costly drop, too, on that drive that ended with the punt on the start of the third quarter. Now, he came back, made a couple big plays that helped him later. But, dude, here's the deal. And somebody sent me this on Twitter. They said, I know it's way too early, but I think Michael Gallup's going to be a salary cap casualty next year. And I was like, dog, you like 3 weeks too late with you think it's too early analysis. They did not get that man a 5-year, $62 million contract to be a bit player. They thought he was going to be a deep threat and a really good number 2 receiver. And for whatever reason, you know, injury or whatever, he's not produced. And so he makes too much money to be 3rd or 4th on the depth chart. And so he'll be gone. And so it's not that Jalen Tolbert will move into his spot. Maybe they'll draft another guy and Jalen Tolbert would be a really good 4. But he'll be competing for time. And I think they're going to use most of these last 8 weeks to really see what Jalen Tolbert can do, because he caught a pass today. There was a nice pass down the middle. He caught that touchdown. His confidence in terms of how he can contribute should be high, or as high as it's ever been. And then I think Turpin, man, you know, he had that touchdown called back, I think, against the Rams. He caught a touchdown today. I think that they're trying to find ways to involve him and just give him an opportunity in space and see what can make happen. But it all starts with Dak Prescott. He was phenomenal today. And I think he's found his rhythm. And if he can keep up, he can eat the next few weeks while they play these teams that they usually go off on.
Yeah, we'll see about Turpin because he got a stinger, and he ain't gonna.
I thought he broke his collarbone at first.
Yeah, he ain't gonna feel the same way Monday that he feel today because he went to the blue tent. If you know what I'm talking about.
He got the blue tent. Went to the blue tent. Probably got that long needle.
Yeah, Monday he got to rub a needle or something because Monday morning.
That thing gonna be barking.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
barking
indeed.
Like that.
Yes, indeed.
I don't know what to make of the Cowboys' defense today. It seemed like they played good, but they also gave up 28 points, and they gave up 2 game-changing drives. One to start the game, they put you down 7-0, immediately had you chasing the game, and then one again in the start of the second half that had you chasing it because it put you behind and ultimately led to a 28-17 deficit. But then in the fourth quarter, they showed up and gave the offense an opportunity to win. And so I'm kind of conflicted over them. I don't think they played poorly by any stretch. But I'm trying to look at some stats here. They gave, okay, you know what, man? They gave up 292 yards to Philadelphia. I can't really moan and groan about them.
Well, it's kind of like
they had some bad field position.
I'm gonna go back to the old boxing analogy. It's kind of like the Hearns-Hagler fight.
Okay,
they both came out swinging. They both was champions. Somebody had to lose, and it was Hitman. You know, they stood in the middle of the ring, went toe to toe, and Hitman lost. So that's what the Cowboys did today. I mean, you can't say they did a good job on A.J. Brown and then say they didn't play well. You know?
Well, I think that's why I started off talking about I'm conflicted. Like A.J. Brown, 7 for 66. You can certainly live with that.
Yep.
Jalen Hurts, 17 to 23 for 207 and 2 touchdowns. You can live with that.
What Devontae have?
He had 3 for 51 and a touchdown.
Wow, seemed like he did more than that, but wow, okay. See, they did.
I think the big thing is they couldn't get the turnover today, and the one turnover, the apparent turnover they did have, got ruled back correctly.
They played a lot of man today.
Oh, dog, they was all about the man.
Yeah, that's what happened on Devontae touchdown to Bland.
Hey, dog, I can't even get mad about that.
I ain't either, but it is what it is. But I was like, man, I'd like to see Jalen throw into some tight windows, but you gotta cover number 11. And that's probably why they went to a lot of man, just so they could bracket that guy.
Yeah, on the touchdown pass you're talking about, to me, Bland had about as good a coverage as you can have. It was perfect throw, perfect catch, back of the end zone.
Yeah. It's still man to man, though. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, if he had some help over the top, you know how he do. He probably would have snagged that thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just one of them things where it's either or. You either let Brown go crazy on you or you take away what you can, and I'll live with them 28 points. Like I say, quote unquote, from possibly the best team in the NFC, you know.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think when you go deeper into it, you go Aubrey, when the score is 7-7, Aubrey, who's been great all year, first he banged the extra point off the upright, so I go, okay, he is human.
Oh, my goodness.
And then he kicked, like almost every kick he's had, probably like 99% of them have been touchbacks. And all of a sudden he kicked it out of bounds. Like, how did that happen?
I thought, man, the kicker is gone. He done left the building. I thought, oh no, here we go. He done went bad. You know how they do.
Right. So what I'm saying is that gave a good offense the ball at the 40. They went down and scored. Then, man, to start the second half, on the touchback, how do you get a personal foul for unnecessary roughness, Rashaan Evans? Which gives them the ball at the 40 again, and they go down and score. He
was just activated.
I know, dog. That'll get your butt deactivated, man. Personal foul on the touchback, and then, well, maybe he just got here and he didn't know Aubrey sent most of the kickoffs into the end zone. And then on the touchdown drive that they did score to make it 28-17, Cowboys had 3 penalties, and I was just like, man, y'all. I mean, and if I see one more dude on the defensive line up in the neutral zone, man, it just drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So they can look back at that and go, we played overall well. I mean, anytime you give up less than 300 yards to an NFL team, you done the damn thing, really. They held them to 3.3 a carry on the run. They did a lot of good things, man. Just the details, the little bitty mistakes hurt them today. And they're going to be cussing when they look at the tape and go, man, if we had done this, this, and this, we probably could have held them to a couple touchdowns and beat them.
Well, the pass interference on 21.
On Gilmore? Yeah. That was one of the plays on that scoring drive. And that's just.
What is that? That's bull. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. You can call it buffalo chips. You can call it poppycock. You can call it bullshit.
That's what it was. A bunch of bullshit. Yeah. The officiating was awful. You know, we just got one of them games where they just decided to be awful. They just decided to be inconsistent and awful.
Well, I think it was inconsistent because both teams ended up with the same number of penalties.
Yeah.
10 for 83 for Dallas, 10 for 98 for the Eagles. But that was a shady call, man. And it helped them quite a bit because it helped them go down to score and take the 11-point lead, which forced Dallas to chase the game and play a certain style. So I mean, it just is what it is. There's a part of the NFL that says, when in doubt, throw that thing up, hope for the best. And a lot of times you'll get rewarded because that one hurt. But to me, it wasn't the end all be all, but it didn't help. Now I do have a question. I'm rewinding because I got into a conversation with somebody about this back and forth. First drive of the game. Are you challenging the spot on that first third down play?
No.
Why not?
It's too early to be losing timeouts if you don't get it. That's what I'm thinking. The challenge is such a, I don't know. It's so subjective because if you win, you good. If you don't, you lose timeout. Then you're looking for it later. So,
well, I'm gonna tell y'all if I can find it right quick about this conversation I had because this guy was like, because I said the same thing is because he hit me after the game. He says, "Boy, wouldn't it?" This is D Feldman 53 on Twitter. Let me see if I can find the original point. Okay, the original point is a challenge on the spot 2 minutes into the game and 65 yards from the end zone does not set a tone. Because he was like, you should challenge it because then they'll punt. And I'm like, you don't know that they'll punt. You think that they'll punt, but you don't know. And he goes, this is a bad take. It forces a punt. And I'm like, I would disagree. And so then after the game, he goes, wouldn't it have been nice to challenge a spot, force a punt, and avoid an opening TD? Glad McCarthy didn't burn his challenge too early and save them to use on the plane home. And I was like, nope, the whole butterfly effect. You have no idea if they would have punted. You have no idea how the spot would have gone. You think you know, but you don't. And he goes, you don't know either. And he goes, it's clear with a 4th and 2 in minus territory, it would have been harder. Harder doesn't mean they wouldn't have gone for it. They have a play that they think is foolproof. On that tush push brotherly shove today, how many times did they just gain 1 yard?
They gained about 3.
Dog.
Yeah, he gained about 3. Yeah.
They think anything 4th and 2 and in is like, hey, let's go for it. So but
well, the opinion of people is the beauty of sports. That's why we here.
Right, and that's why
people got opinion. I mean, that's what I love about it. Some of the conversations I get into and that we get into about this thing. And
that's why I said, okay. I said K because that's my dismissive approach.
Yeah. ...
I disagree because he's talked with such authority, like this is how it was going to go down. I'm like, dog, you don't know. Nobody knows. That's why I said you think you know, but you don't. Because they have, it's just a whole different thing. But your opinion is fine.
Yeah, it's just a philosophy, though. I wouldn't have burned time out either. You just don't. You never know. You got to keep that stuff in your back pocket. You never know when you're gonna need it.
Right, like you would hate to do it on a challenge right there, lose it, and then maybe not have one to do for a turnover at the end of the first half.
Yeah, but that's
plus
why
they 65 yards away. It's not like they at the 20. You're going in to score. That's different. I mean, you got a good defense. You're thinking, okay, it's first drive of the game. We'll stop them somewhere along this drive.
But that's why I always say if you go for it on 4th down, it's not the decision to go for it. It's how did you try to go for it. I'm never mad about if coach want to go for it or not. It's always how was you trying to achieve that? Was the play call terrible? Then you probably should have kicked the ball. But if you make a spectacular miss, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, let me see. I don't for the most part, I don't even get into the play calls because why did you call it? You thought it was going to work when you called it.
Oh, it is a such thing as a stupid play call.
Oh, I said for the most part.
No, I'm gonna say that for myself.
Because there are some stupid play calls.
It is.
But for the most part, you called the play because you thought it would work. Yeah. Now, what I like to do and go back later is, and you can't even do this after the game. You got to wait sometimes a day, sometimes a week. Okay, what was you trying to do on that play? Because it didn't seem, it seemed odd to make that choice and that decision right there. So what were you trying to do? Why did you think that was a good play call right there?
Well, that's the art of being a reporter. It's not, it's how you ask.
Oh, no, everything is about how you ask,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, I learned that from y'all. Well, being married 32 years, too. So.
Well, yeah, that'll help, too. Like, why did you, hey, babe, this is really delicious. Why'd you serve this for dinner today?
Yeah.
It was this.
Why cream gravy instead of brown? I don't understand.
Right. Then you text me and say, I can't believe she cooked this damn brown.
No, I ain't never text you that.
I'm not talking about you,
record,
man.
I'm saying, don't put me in.
It's the collective view, man.
No,
Quit
man.
being so sensitive.
No, I'm not being sensitive. I got people listening to this thing. I ain't never text you that in my life. You don't start that shit right there. Hey, easy killer.
Nobody said you text. I didn't mean
I categorically deny I text anything like that.
You have never texted me.
Yeah.
I want this for the record.
Oh, we just
the lovely Miss Hartfield.
We protested too much now.
Should have cooked brown gravy, but she served cream instead.
No,
okay,
sir.
That was never an issue.
I absolutely love her gravy. Let's get back on track here.
That's enough gravy talk.
Roger that.
Only gravy you should get should come from Smokey John's Barbecue right there on 1820 West Mockingbird. All right, so we're gonna have. We haven't had a lot of Cowboys talk the last couple of weeks because your Texas Rangers won the World Series. I know that's hard for y'all to believe. Yeah. They won the World Series. My content creator, David, is over here wearing a red Texas jersey. I got to tell you, I ain't never seen him in a Rangers jersey in my life, but he got one on. I don't know if it's new. I don't know if it's old, but he got it.
Hey, I dug out
it's brand new. It's got a World. It could be left over from 2011 World Series.
Yeah, I got a lot.
He got another cheating ass Michigan guy's jersey, Derek Holland. Derek Holland, my guy, though. We had a lot of great conversations about Ohio State and Michigan, especially when we was kicking ass on the regular. But we gonna get out of here. A lot of Cowboys talk this week now that baseball is over. And if you have a chance, if you're a huge Rangers fan, don't be ashamed to go back and watch Game 5 and Game 4 and even Game 1 against Houston. Any of that. Or Game 1 against Arizona. Any of that. Go ahead and savor it and enjoy the championship because they're hard to come by. When Ohio State won its championship, what was it, 2014, I think, I went back and I must have watched the Ohio State-Alabama game probably, I lost track of count how many times I watched it. I would just have it on. I'd be working, I would just have it on. And when Zeke got ready to go 85 yards through the heart of the South, I stopped. Yeah, I wonder if he's going to score. Yeah, go Zeke, go. So I'm telling y'all, if you're a huge Rangers fan, enjoy this championship. Go back and rewatch all the games. It's just so you know. I'm a reporter, but the games were such that I went back. I ain't going to tell y'all what I did, but it's just us friends here. So let me tell y'all real quick what I did before we get out of here. I don't think I told y'all. So I had a very long day, Game 1. I was in Los Angeles, going to the Colorado UCLA game. So I had to watch Game 1 from LA. Had a long travel day. A couple things went wrong. And so I'm watching the game, taking some notes. And then the top of the ninth ended. And I looked and I said, okay, they got 9-1-2 coming up. This is good. I went to sleep during the 2.5-minute commercial with the Rangers down 5-3. So imagine my surprise when I woke up the next morning. I said, I woke up about 3 a.m. I go, I wonder, I just want to, I assume they lost 5-3 because they hadn't gotten anything going since early in the game. When I looked up and saw that those fools had won 6-5, I was like, oh my God. And I immediately went to MLB app and rewatched the game and did all this stuff. But I was like, I can't believe I fell asleep on that and missed one of the most epic comebacks ever. So that's me sharing a little something with y'all. How about that?
It is what it is, man. It is what it is. I mean, I'm getting me a Adolis Garcia jersey.
Oh, we're going to do that, man. He a bad man. He plays with a certain Javre Esprit de Corps. I forget what else. Jadevry, Spirit of Life. I figure out what it is I want to say next time. I know what it is, but I can't remember my high school French, even though my name is Jean-Jacques. Once again,
he wore 53.
Yes. We always appreciate you listening to the Jacques Talk podcast, presented to you by Grinning Law. Don't forget to review, rate, subscribe. We appreciate all of that. We need all of that to keep the podcast thriving. And until we chat again, you guys be blessed.